English 10.
Good day everyone, I am Teacher JM and I will be your English teacher for the whole school year. Welcome to the first quarter of our English class. Our first lesson is all about information from various sources. At the end of this lesson, we are expected to 1. Write a news report. 2. Recognize information from contextualized speech. 3. Construct personal information or informative speeches. And lastly, you are to organize panel discussion in making decisions.
Lesson 1 is all about information from various sources. 1.1 Writing news report. 1.2 Recognizing information from contextualized speech. 1.3 Constructing personal informative speech. 1.4 Organizing panel discussion and making decisions. These are the key terms you need to remember in this lesson. News reports, speeches, informative talks, and panel discussions. The general objectives. In this chapter, you will define news reports, speeches, informative talks, panel discussions, etc., and use information from news reports, speeches, informative talks, panel discussions, etc. in everyday conversations and exchanges. Why is this important? Information is a part of our lives that we can get from various sources. We use it in everyday conversations and exchanges, especially knowing and raising awareness of what is happening in the community or society you belong to.
The nation's hospitals making emergency demands, some doctors and nurses running low on protective gear, many reusing their masks, some hospitals reporting a 50% surge in coronavirus patients. Here's ABC's Adrian Banker.
Tonight, a massive rush to get tested suddenly cut short. Hundreds of people arriving before 4:30 this morning, waiting in a mile-long line at New Jersey's biggest drive-through testing site. But just 30 minutes after opening, they hit capacity, and police had to turn people away. Medical professionals now advise that only those with severe cases seek medical help. Inside hospitals tonight, there's growing concern.
It's a scary time to be a doctor in America, and especially in New York.
Dr. Cornelia Griggs, a mother of two, is a pediatric surgeon who works with coronavirus patients at Columbia University Medical Center. She says she's worried the hospital could run out of masks, eye protection, and gloves. Her message on Twitter, "Don't make us orphan our two toddlers."
It's forced me to feel like I have to live apart from my children in order to protect them, and that breaks my heart.
Internal memos written by Columbia University's chief surgeon, Dr. Craig Smith, say that his hospitals have seen a 50% increase in coronavirus patients, burning through 40,000 masks every day, adding that officials predict the number of cases might not even peak for another 32 days. Two New York area medical professionals we spoke to tonight are worried about what lies ahead.
We're filling up our ICUs. We have several floors now that are devoted only to COVID positive patients.
There's a misconception out there that this is a disease that only affects the elderly and only affects people who have significant medical problems, and that's not what we're seeing in the hospitals around New York. We're seeing younger people.
Many doctors tell ABC News over the past few weeks they're being forced to reuse masks and protective gear. But even with the stories of nationwide shortages of N95 masks and other gear, Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City says it has sufficient supplies and is prepared for things to get worse.
On the whole, I would say I'm feeling inspired just being able to watch the stuff that my colleagues are doing. It's absolutely incredible. I think what people have done over the last month.
Tonight, researchers at Columbia University estimate the number of undetected cases is 11 times higher than what's officially been reported and predict that 650,000 people could be infected over the next 2 months, even if the transmission rate is cut in half. Attorney Manny Alejandro tried to get tested at this urgent care center in Brooklyn, instead finding this sign posted that said no more COVID-19 tests. 49-year-old Dr. Jean-Luc Neptune tested positive for COVID-19 6 days ago, cautioning that this disease be taken seriously.
Joint pain, myalgias, muscle pain, have had that as well. I literally had a fever for 10 days, some days more than 101, which is very uncomfortable.
Detailing those symptoms, we could hear the cough right there. Adrian Banker joins us. And Adrian, we just learned that FEMA will be setting up new medical stations in the 3 states that have the most coronavirus cases right now.
Yes, that's right, Tom. The president making a major announcement. He says that FEMA will set up those makeshift hospitals in California, New York, and Washington state, providing thousands of new hospital beds. Tom.
Guide questions. 1. What is the news all about? 2. What exactly happened? 3. Who was involved? 4. Who is the pediatric surgeon? 5. Where did the incident take place? 6. When did it happen? 7. What is the cause of the incident? 8. Who is the reporter? 9. What is the headline of the news? 10. What do you think is a news report? What is a news report? A news report is similar to a news article. It is the basic facts of a story that is currently happening or that just happened. Writing a news report is easy if you report on the subject clearly, conduct good interviews, and write in a style that is clear, concise, and active. News reports are found in newspapers and their purpose is to inform readers of what is happening in the world around them. News reports have a certain structure that you need to follow. This structure is sometimes called the inverted pyramid. This is what it looks like. The first level contains the headline of the news. The second level contains the who and what of the news. The third level contains the when, where, and why of the news. The fourth level contains the how of the news. News reports begin with a catchy headline. News reports always start with a short, punchy, attention-grabbing headline. Headlines often use alliteration, using the same letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. For example, fed up with festive food waste or Harry's health sees him hurry for home. Abbreviations. For example, deficit expected to deepen an MYEFO report. Casual language, slang. For example, intimidating, 100 brawling youths terrorize Atmacus. Headlines are typically short, partly to keep them punchy, and partly because of a shortage of space. 2. The lead paragraph informs the reader of the most important aspects of the story as soon as possible. The first paragraph of a news report is called the lead. The lead is usually less than 25 words and gives an overview of the event or story. The lead will often explain who, what, when, where, and why. The reason for this is that when many people read newspapers, they often only read the first few paragraphs of a story, so journalists try to present all the important information first. The lead paragraph is often the only part of the story that people read. Use the 5Ws rule. Who is involved? What took place? When did it take place? Where did it take place? Why did it happen? How did it happen? Only include this if there is space. 3. The body of the news report gives more details and provides more information about the why and how of the story. After the leading paragraph, the rest of the report should be written from most to least important information. You can organize your information according to the inverted pyramid. After you've listed all the most important facts in your news article, include any additional information that might help the reader learn more, such as contact information, additional facts about the topic or people involved, or quotes from interviews. When writing a quote in a newspaper article, always put the attribution, the he said bit, after the quote. 4. The tail contains the less important information which is often omitted by the newspaper editor if there is not enough space left in the newspaper. Conclude your article by giving it a good concluding sentence. This is often a restatement of the leading statement or a statement discussing potential future developments relating to the story. Where appropriate, you can direct readers to places where they can find out more information or can get help. You can include web addresses or phone numbers. Leading paragraph, the most important information. The 5 W's, who, what, where, when, why, and sometimes how. Typically about 30 words may include a hook, provocative question or quote. Body, the crucial information. This is the argument, story, issue or controversy, and includes information like evidence, background, details includes quotes, photos, videos and audio that support, dispute or expand the story. Tail, any extra information. Includes any extra interesting or related information. The reason for such writing is threefold. The style is helpful for writers, as this type of reporting is somewhat easier to complete in short deadlines imposed on journalists, particularly in today's fast-paced news business. Second, the style benefits editor who can, if necessary, quickly cut the story from the bottom without losing vital information. Third, the style keeps in mind traditional readers, most of who skim articles or only read a few paragraphs, but they can still learn most of the important information from this quick read. How to write a news report. Part 1, Collecting information for the report. 1. Figure out what to write about. News reports are about something that is happening now or that just recently happened. Current issues, events, crimes, and investigations are good subjects for news reports. Other styles of journalism are better for things like profiles, advice articles, and opinion pieces. Ask around for story ideas, especially government officials and public relations representatives. Scan the news to see what is already happening. This could lead to you finding other story ideas that are related. Search your city or county's website or directory for local events that are coming up. Attend city council meetings to find out if there are any local issues happening in your area. Sit in on trials at the courthouse and see if anything interesting happens that you could report on. 2. Go to the scene. Once you find out what you want to write about, go there. You might need to go to the scene of a crime, a business, the courthouse, or an event. It will be difficult to write about something that you are not present at. Write down everything you see and everything that takes place. Record and take notes of any speeches that occur at events. Make sure to get the names of the speakers. 3. Conduct interviews. Who you interview will depend on what you are reporting on. You will want to get a broad range of quotes for your report, so try to interview an array of people. Good people to interview are event coordinators, lawyers, police, business owners, volunteers, participants, and witnesses. If you need to find people to schedule interviews with them, use the internet to find contact information. You can also interview people directly at the scene, depending on your news report topic. If the story is controversial or political, make sure to get both sides of the issue. Prepare sample questions, but don't necessarily stick to them. Think of an interview as a conversation. Record the interview. Make sure to get the full names, spelled correctly, of anyone you interviewed. 4. Transcribe the interviews and speeches. When you are back at your home or your office, transcribe the interviews and any speeches. Listen to your recordings and type out everything, or at least the most important parts, of the interviews and speeches. This will make finding information for the report and any quotes easier. Make sure you review your transcriptions to make sure they're accurate. You don't want to misquote someone. 5. Do research on the subject. News reports are about what happened at the moment, but it is good to do basic research on the subject. Research any companies, people, or programs that you are reporting on to make sure you have your facts straight. Double-check the spelling of names, dates, and any information you have gathered to make sure it is correct. How to write a news report. Part 2, Writing the news report. Write a headline. Your headline should be accurate, clear, and easy to understand. Use keywords from the story and keep it straight and plain. Use active and short action verbs in your headline. The headline should accurately lead readers to what the report is about. The headline should be attention-grabbing, but not exaggerate or mislead. Capitalize the first word of the headline and any proper nouns after that. If you're having trouble coming up with a headline, you might try writing it last instead. it may be easier to think of a headline after you've finished your article. For example, your headline might read, "Armed Robbery at Portland Farmers Market." Write a byline and placeline. The byline goes directly underneath the headline. This is where you put your name and clarify who you are. The placeline is where the article takes place and is written in all caps. Use AP-style state abbreviations. An example of a byline, Sue Smith, staff reporter. An example of a placeline, Eugene, or. Use a hard news lead. A news lead is the opening paragraph of a report or article and is often considered the most important part. A news report is not the time for a verbose and artful lead. Keep your lead to the point, fitting as much of the basic information as you can into your lead. A lead is only one or maybe two sentences and summarizes the news story. The who, what, when, where, why, and how of your story should be emphasized in the lead. Don't include people's names in the lead, save that information for later, unless everyone knows who they are. An example, President Obama. For example, a Seattle man was caught selling stolen cars at his auto shop on Tuesday when a police officer posed as a customer. Write the body of your report. This is going to consist of the facts, but more detailed and specific than in your lead. Use the information you collected and gathered at the scene and in interviews. Write your report in the third person and from a neutral perspective. Make sure your story conveys information and not an opinion. Include quotes in the news. Quotes can be included in your news report to convey information. Always introduce who you are quoting followed by the exact words that they said. Use their full name the first time you mention them, then only use their last name. For example, Mary Quibble has been the director of the Children's Theater for 6 years. "I love the children and how much they care about these performances," Quibble said. "There are 76 kids in the programs. They range in age from 7 to 16 years old." Always include attributions. Unless the information is common knowledge, always attribute where you got it. You can get in trouble for not giving credit to someone. This is also important in case a fact is wrong, then it will be known who got the fact wrong and that it was not you. For example, the woman ran out of the house at 11 p.m. when she heard the burglar enter, police said. Write in hard news style. You don't want to use overly descriptive language when writing a news report. Just stick to the facts and keep the sentences short and concise. Use active language and strong verbs. Speak in the past tense when writing a news report. Start a new paragraph whenever there is a new thought. This might mean you have paragraphs that are as short as a sentence or two. Write your news report in AP style. Example of news report. Mayoral candidate David Pearson wins close election. Democrat David Pearson became the newest mayor of Danville after a close election ended Tuesday night. Pearson defeated his opponent, Republican Shirley Owens, by just 27 votes. Many local officials had predicted a close race, but no one knew it would be decided by such a slim margin. After the results came in late Tuesday night, Pearson held a press conference at his campaign headquarters to announce his victory and thank his opponent. "I want to thank Shirley for running a clean campaign and keeping things civil, despite a few of our heated debates," Pearson said to a round of applause. Pearson was surrounded by his family, including wife Trina and son Michael, as well as several top members of his campaign staff. Pearson only spoke for a few minutes, clearly tired after a long day of awaiting results. Surrounded by friends and family, Shirley Owens spoke from her office on the other side of town. "Most importantly, I want to thank the citizens of Danville for participating in the political process, and I have loved meeting and working with so many of you over the past 2 years," she said before congratulating Pearson on his win. She spoke for 10 minutes before taking a few questions. According to Owens, she hopes to continue working in the local government, although she announced no specific plans. Several citizens of Danville were surprised that Owens lost, as she had come out ahead in several polls taken over the past few months. However, most local residents were not very concerned with the results, as the majority of the town noted that both Pearson and Owens had similar views on many popular issues. This election actually had one of the lowest turnouts in Danville history. Sarah Bergeson, a local representative who works on the election board, attributed this to people's lack of concern for either candidate. Most people felt David and Shirley had similar views, so they weren't really concerned with choosing one over the other, said Bergeson. Pearson is expected to take over as mayor at the beginning of next month.
Writing a news report. A news article explains a real-life event. It presents a lot of information, but does not use a lot of words. Facts about news reports. They're factual and informational, written in short paragraphs of 1 to 2 sentences, uses plain language. W5H belong at the beginning, first 2 paragraphs of the report, includes quotations from key people who are witnesses or part of the story, and they're written in the third person so they do not use I. A news report includes the following: a headline, a photo, a byline, a placeline, a lead paragraph, body paragraphs, and quotations. Headline is the title of the article. It should be catchy and grab the attention of your readers. Assassin kills Kennedy. Zombies take over the city. Royal birth, it's a boy. The photo will relate to the headline of the news report, illustrating characteristics of the story. A byline is the name of the person who wrote the report. Remember, when you write your own news report, you will use your own name. The placeline is where the report was written. The place the report was written depends on where the incident took place. The lead paragraph is the first paragraph of the article. In this lead paragraph, you must include the 4 W's. Who was involved in the incident? What exactly happened? Where did it happen? And when did it happen? A sample lead paragraph would look like this. Yesterday, Joe Brown was shocked to find a rare bird in his backyard in Brampton. You have the who, what, where, and when. Paragraph 2 explains how and why the incident happened. Paragraph 3 will include at least one quotation from someone who was part of the incident and who was interviewed for the report. Paragraph 4 will include any additional information the reader may want to know. So let's give it a try. School receives award. Note the picture below the headline. Brainstorming. Who, what, where, when, why, and how. Who, Heart Lake Secondary School. What, receives award. Where, Brampton, Ontario. When, yesterday. Why, for community spirit. How, by picking up litter on a daily basis. School receives award. S. Birch, Brampton, Ontario. Yesterday, Heart Lake Secondary School, located in Brampton, received an award for community spirit. The students of the school cleaned up their neighborhood by picking up litter on a daily basis for 2 weeks. The award was presented by the organization Community Giving, who gives out 3 Community Spirit Awards a year. Principal of Heart Lake Secondary School, Stu Smith, said, "I am so proud of the students. They were dedicated. I am thrilled they have won this award." Student Tia Lu said, "Every morning we spent 15 minutes picking up the litter in the neighborhood. Students plan to continue to keep their neighborhood clean." So let's take note. Paragraphs are 1 to 2 sentences long. Key information is in the first 2 paragraphs, and all the information is factual. This report includes the W5H. Quotations are related directly to the report, and the last paragraph includes any additional information. Now it's your turn. Use the following example to write your own news report. Remember to include all the parts of a news report you have seen here.
Elements of writing a news report. A news article explains a real-life event. It gives lots of information, but in simple words. Facts about news report. They give factual and real information written in short paragraphs of 1 to 2 sentences. Uses plain and easy language. A news report contains all the 5 whys and the edge in the first 2 paragraphs. News reports include quotations from people part of the incident. Written in third person does not use the I. A news report includes the following: a headline, a photo, byline, a place line, a lead paragraph, body paragraphs, and quotations. The headline is the title of the article. The heading should be catchy and should grab the reader's attention. If, for example, alien found on moon, new species of shark, deadliest typhoon in China. Photo. The photo will relate to the heading of the report. Byline. Byline is the author of the article. It tells who wrote the report. Placeline is where the incident took place. The lead paragraph is the first paragraph of the article. The lead paragraph should answer the 4 W's, which are: what exactly happened, who was involved, when did the incident take place, when did it happen. Example lead paragraph. Yesterday, Aditi was surprised to find a new species of dragonflies in her garden in New Delhi. In this paragraph, the who, the what, the when, and the where have been answered. The body paragraph. Paragraph 2 explains the how and the why the incident happened. Paragraph 3 includes at least 1 quotation from someone who was part of the incident or who was interviewed for the report. Paragraph 4 includes. Take note. Paragraphs are 1 to 2 sentences long. Key information is in the first 2 paragraphs.